Today's venue is Garmisch Partenkirchen in the district of Oberbayern. I have a special guest today, Colin Phillips. Would you mind me saying that it's a stroke of luck, in a certain way, that you're not participating in the competition today?
No, I take it as a compliment. Seeing all that bustle around, I'd really like to go up there and jump myself. But this time I'll leave it to the other skiers.
This is another junior competition.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I'm really looking forward to this.
I suppose he can't believe what's on the scoreboard up there. That's a very, very weak result for him today. We're used to something else.
And he is too, I'm sure.
Thanks to technology, we can look at the replay and be clear about things. There's some crosswind at the moment, but it shouldn't be a problem. However, the skiers will have to adjust to the weather conditions. There was no prize for him today. I'm sorry for him, but this performance didn't exactly deserve a better score. I'm allowed to say that, am I not, Colin?
Well, of course, Mark. There's no need really to go easy on him. But who knows, maybe in the next competition...
The excitement before the start. This Austrian skier's pulse is beginning to race. Oh, not cool! That's tragic. Starting with skis that are not waxed properly. No speed, no distance, forget it!
Yeah, I'd tell the waxer to take a long walk off a short pier.
So would I. For all those who are not yet experts in ski jumping, I'd like to explain the point about hill size again. In the early days, the ski jumps were giving a so-called K-point, which means critical or calculation point. But as this point doesn't tell much about the actual size of the ski jump, the term hill size was introduced in 2004. But the distance points are still calculated in comparison to the K-point.
Wow, I could listen to you for hours, Mark.
Thank you, Colin.
You're welcome.
If we don't see any good jumps today, it won't be because of the weather. But of course, we expect the skiers to turn in some good performances.
Oh, well, I'll be expecting them to.
Well, he seems to lack something today, mentally as well as bodily.
Bad, very, very bad. I'm sure he's awfully angry now that he couldn't quite tune into his good performances. He's pretty out on form today.
On this ski jump, Dieter Thomas made his millennium jump into the new millennium.
Nice pun. Did you notice what effect the wrong wax can have on the skis? He came down the in-run like a lame duck.
I always find it odd that today's ski jumping heroes are here today but gone tomorrow, fallen into oblivion.
Yeah, literally.
Seriously, what do you think is the reason for this?
Well, as I said, ski jumping is a question of psychology above all. And it's even metaphysical sometimes. There's probably no other sport where your inner self is as important as ski jumping.
His fans at home can relax and lean back now. Everyone can be happy with his score. He's well placed in terms of distance as well as style score. Good. The weather is really good today, so no excuse for the skiers.
That's right, Mark.
What's that? Did he have any wax under his skis, Colin?
I don't think so. He was too slow. He was much too slow. They could never have been a good jump back.
What's going on down there? I can't see anything.
Listen, I'll go and have a look. You won't believe me.
What's up?
A cow wandered onto the ice skating rink.
That's unbelievable. Is it true? The wind isn't perfect today, is it, Colin?
Oh, well, not really, but there's a slight crosswind, you know. I don't think that's a problem, though, Mark.
Well, the distance is pretty okay, but if he wants to play in the top group, he'll have to practice a lot, yeah. At least if you take this jump as typical. If you can. This ski jump has its K point at 115 meters and a total length of 264 meters before they run out. So much for your information before the start. Oh no, obviously his skis weren't waxed properly. Much too slow on the inline. That's not enough for a decent distance.
No, he'll be unhappy about that.
What would you tell someone to convince him about the sport?
Well, that's a difficult one. I'd say that ski jumping is not a sport, it's an art, a philosophy even, a religion.
That's laying it on a bit thick, isn't it?
Oh, just make a jump yourself, 200 meters down the valley. Then you'll change your mind, Mark.
Well, you can be sure that he'll go to bed happy tonight. He made the most of his capabilities today. That was a decent performance, and a good result for him. When it comes to being low down the rankings, you can be sure that he'll be bringing up the rear this season. It can only get better.
Yeah, that's right, Mark.
He took off like meatloaf. No wonder. He won't be at the top of the ranking today.
No, there was no power in it. He seems tired or unconcentrated, or a bit of both. I don't know.
He's played a waiting game this season. He simply hasn't got going this year, and he's told me that he's not quite sure why.
Well, I recognize that. Sometimes it's as if it was all jinxed.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
Colin, do you remember ever having seen a jump as bad as this one?
Well, I just don't know what to say. Nothing worked out for him in this jump. The distance is simply appalling.
Even the weather is now eager to create perfect start conditions.
Yes, I can sense there'll be some record distances today.
Wow, this might turn into a good flight. A takeoff to put the fear of God into his opponents. Perfect conditions for an excellent distance. I can't quite see who's up there. Is it Adamalish? No, but it is a Polish skier who's preparing for the start. Oh, that's agonizing. It looked as if he had brake wax under his skis. He developed much too little speed on the in-run for a decent takeoff.
Brake wax, that's a good one. I have to remember that.
He's had very little reason for rejoicing so far. He's way down the rankings this season, but at least he hasn't fallen off the jump table at every try. Now that's something.
Yeah, that's right.
Now let's have a look at the score. Well, you can't be angry at the judges. I think they evaluated his performance correctly.
Yeah, the score's appropriate as far as I'm concerned.
The ski jump in Partenkirchen is pretty impressive with its height of 119 meters.
Yeah, it's great.
Colin, do you have any idea how he can get into the top group next time?
Yes, he absolutely needs to improve his posture, there's no doubt about that. He can only fly far if his body offers enough surface for the air to carry him. But that wasn't the case in this fight.
What's wrong with the Russians? They once were very successful, but now...
Well, after the decline of the USSR, many ski jumps went to rack and ruin. There was no money, and more often than not, there was no will to keep on with the sport. Yeah, I think so too. But we're in a small ski jumping community. Happy about every rival who ends his career.
Yeah. Well, the score is just a little above average, but it's hard work to get there too. For him, it was a good day, I think.
Well, I agree with you, Mark. He's shown what he's capable of at the moment, and that's not too bad at all.
The wind is almost perfect, isn't it, Colin?
Well, yes, that slight upwind might help gain some meters. A couple of meters, maybe.
Well, you can't complain about the weather today.
No, the weather conditions are perfect.
Whoops! What's that? Did he have any wax under his skis, Colin?
I don't think so. He was too slow. He was much too slow. They could never have been a good jump back.
Would you tell us what the private Colin Phillips does in his leisure time? Maybe he grows roses or plays football?
Roses? Football? Well, I like football, but no, none of them, Mark. You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
No, come on.
I love computer games.
No!
Yes, I do. It's great for relaxation, especially before competitions.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah. You can see an upward trend in his performance, and I don't think there's one rival who still underestimates him.
You're right, Mark. But he hasn't beaten me yet.
Nope. If the ski jumps were really roofed over, as certain experts are proposing, competitions would no longer be cancelled because of bad weather conditions.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it would be an enormous investment for the operators. And I think it would be harmful to the atmosphere. Like when I approach running a tunnel, no thank you.
I suppose he wasn't even aware of what kind of movements he was making up there during the flight. For the judges, this is a real reason to deduct points from the style score. The result is as expected. Great hum and buzz with the beautiful weather today. Ready for the soaring flight of the bumblebees.
No, I don't quite get it.
Oh no, obviously his skis weren't waxed properly. Much too slow on the inline. That's not enough for a decent distance.
No, he'll be unhappy about that.
Despite several renovations, this ski jump has seen its best days, I suppose. A completely new jump is to be built in the next few years.
Really? What's going to happen to this one then?
Well, they'll blow it up.
Whoops.
Great. Superb. A very, very nice take.
Yeah, excellent.
As if he had pushed the right button at the right moment.
Super. Absolutely super.
Nothing's working for him this season. Do you understand why, Colin?
No idea. That's a question he can only answer himself, I'm afraid.
What a weak takeoff without any power. As if he had completely missed the point for the extension of his body. There's no way to make a good distance with such a takeoff, is there, Colin?
No, you're right there, Mark, but things like that can happen from time to time. Next time we'll do better, I'm sure.
Let's hope that the slight crosswind won't put the skiers off. Oh, that's agonizing. It looked as if he had great wax on his skis. He developed much too little speed on the inline for a decent takeoff.
Great wax, that's a good one, you have to remember that.
Do you know this Norwegian who's starting next, Colin?
No, not personally, but I've seen him before. He's got potential.
Oh, what's he doing there? That was not a takeoff, that was a catastrophe.
Oh, yeah, it's a real catastrophe. It's a long time since I've seen anything like that. Makes me want to cry, Mark.
We have talked about this several times. Ski jumping is a sport full of imponderables, even mysteries.
Well, that makes it so interesting. You can never be sure what will happen. A psychological problem for us athletes. One moment you're at the top, the next you're down.
It's in the nature of it, isn't it?
So to speak.
Today he's consolidated his performance with another good jump.
Excellent.
The weather is really good today, so no excuse for the skiers.
That's right, Mark.
On this ski jump, Dieter Thomas made his millennium jump into the new millennium.
Nice pun.
His posture during the flight and on landing doesn't exactly take your breath away, but he has to be content. It's okay like that.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. His performance doesn't deserve any better.
As the weather conditions are always an uncontrollable variable in ski jumping, experts are considering roofing over the in-run with a perspex tube. What do you think of that, Colin?
Oh no. The open sky, the fresh air. I'd miss it all too much.
Approach run, takeoff, landing, perfect. But the flying phase, the flight itself, wasn't all that pleasing to the eye. His posture just isn't right yet.
No, it looked a bit wobbly.
This season, he had planned to be out with the front runners. It's not quite worked out for him, but he's made an impression.
Yeah, he practices a lot, and you can feel that he's not satisfied with the medium rank.
Very nice takeoff. Nothing to criticize. Am I right, Colin?
Oh, yeah, Mark. He made the takeoff at the right moment, a bit earlier or a bit later, and he might have failed. But not today. That was great stuff.
Excellent. Today he has to show what he's capable of. His performance left a lot to be desired recently. He's way behind the top rankings.
Yeah, he's way behind. Did you notice what effect the wrong wax can have on the skis? He came down the in-run like a lame duck.
There are still many skiers better than him, many who are worse. His performance and his attitude are right. He just needs a little bit of luck to play at the top.
Yeah, we all need a bit of luck.
That was a really good one. What do you think, Colin?
Yes, I'm impressed by the lad's performance today.
He can be satisfied with his performance so far. It's consistent and strong. He's not yet good enough to be at the very top, but who knows? It might just be around the corner.
It could be.
This is where he's better than most other jumpers. His takeoff was perfect once again. It's not that easy to find the right point for takeoff at such a high speed, is it, Colin?
No, not at all. Things go so fast up there that you sometimes have to feel intuitively when you have to take off. But he just did it perfectly.
If we don't see any good jumps today, it won't be because of the weather. But of course, we expect the skiers to turn in some good performances.
Oh, well, I'll be expecting them to.
Oh, not cool. That's tragic. Starting with skis that are not waxed properly. No speed, no distance. Forget it.
Yeah, I'd tell the waxer to take a long walk off a short pier.
So would I. I would like to ask you something, Colin. Okay. For many people, ski jumping is totally serious, but at the same time, it's a big show and should be fun above all.
Show? Listen, ski jumping virtually belongs to the arts. It demands absolute seriousness and devotion to the sport.
Well, I had a colleague who made a joke about UFOs flying over the jump. He was bombed with hate mail.
Yeah, I can imagine, because it's inappropriate to make fun of sports.
Okay, I didn't say a thing.
No.
What's wrong with him, Colin? He seems to have lost his form. He'll have to take care not to slip further down the rankings.
Yes, unfortunately, things like this can happen all too quickly in this sport.
Well, I know what will be in this training program for the next few days. take off, and take off. There was no explosiveness in his body. The extension of his body came much too slowly. No big case for him today.
No, certainly no flowers, but he can collect a whole lot of branches on the outrun. No good distance for him today.
The slight crosswind might cause some problems today.
Yeah, but any pro will be able to adjust to a light breeze like this, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, that's agonizing. It looked as if he had great wax on his skis. He developed much too little speed on the inrun for a decent takeoff.
Great wax. That's a good one. I have to remember that.
The ski jump in Partenkirchen is pretty impressive with its height of 119 meters.
Yeah, it's great.
Maybe we should talk about women in ski jumping too.
Oh,
As
yes.
in many other sports, the ladies hardly manage to emerge from the men's shadow.
Well,
I wonder why. Because they also achieve impressive distances. The actual record is held by the Austrian Daniela Iraschko with 200 meters.
Yep.
Well, there's not much to say about this result. Very bad. He badly needs to improve in the next competition, that's for certain.
Yeah, it couldn't get worse.
Well, you can't complain about the weather today.
No, the weather conditions are perfect.
He did well to master the most difficult phase in ski jumping, the takeoff. This might make for a very good jump. You know what? I really prefer this type of skier. He's never satisfied with what he's attained, but he always tries to get a little better.
Yeah, that's true, Mark. He gets better with every competition. He almost scares me a little.
It's high time that a Pole makes it to the top again. Maybe this young athlete. What do you think, Colin?
Well, I've never heard of him, but I always like surprises.
Despite several renovations, this ski jump has seen its best days, I suppose. A completely new jump is to be built in the next few years.
Really? What's going to happen to this one then?
They'll blow it up.
Whoops.
Oh no. Obviously, his skis weren't waxed properly. Much too slow on the inrun. That's not enough for a decent distance.
No, he'll be unhappy about that.
At the first ski jumping competition in 1893, which did not take place in Norway, but in Austria, a manure heap was used as a ski jump.
Oh, wow. God, that must have smelt really good. Fortunately, some things have changed in architecture.
That's annoying. If he had paid better attention during the flight, he could have got an excellent result. But this is not enough.
I mean, that's something you can improve on in training. Nowadays, the right posture is even calculated.
He told me before the competition that he had a good feeling. Is that enough to make it to the top, Colin?
Well, I don't think he'll make a top rank now, but he has a lot of fight in him, and if he can improve a little bit, he'll certainly leave the midfield standing.
I wouldn't grudge him a really excellent performance for once, but he's simply not yet at that point, it seems. So the score is justified at this time, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd never disagree with an expert like you, Mark. No, seriously.
How about the wind? There's a slight upwind at the moment. That's good for the distance. Even the weather is now eager to create perfect start conditions.
Yes, I can sense there'll be some record distances today.
Well, that obviously was the jump of a scaredy cat. I think I need to say things clearly in this case.
Scaredy cat?
Scaredy cat.
Oh, no, Mark.
A coward.
No, he's not a coward. I know him pretty well. The jump simply didn't work out. But he can improve, that's for sure.
Some people still think that Telemark is an American TV star.
I beg your pardon.
Well, Telemark.
Oh, no, please. You had promised me to leave your puns at home today.
Oh, not cool. That's tragic. Starting with skis that are not waxed properly. No speed, no distance. Forget it.
Yeah, I'd tell the waxer to take a long walk off a short pier.
So would I. Yet another remark about the so-called hill size. The specification is calculated at that point of the outrun where there is still a 32% gradient. It's mostly a little less than the jury distance.
I couldn't explain it any better.
Great hum and buzz with the beautiful weather today. Ready for the soaring flight of the bumblebees.
No, I don't quite get it.
And now for the score. Well, that's okay, I'd say. Not exceedingly good, but not bad either, just like his performance. Average. Knock, knock. There's someone knocking hard at the door of the top 10.
Yeah, he's got the will to get to the very top, and he subordinates everything else to this goal.
Whoops! What's that? Did he have any wax under his skis?
I don't think so. He was too slow. He was much too slow. They could never have been a good jump back.
Colin, what's your comment on this performance?
Well, there's not much to criticise, actually. His performance is good, he's calm, and in complete control of the situation. I'd say the only thing he still lacks a little bit is routine and level-headedness.
Would you have thought that he's good enough already for such a performance?
No, actually not, Mark. But in ski jumping, there's always a bit of good luck that might add to your abilities. So that's what he wants to know.
No one would have bet on him before this season, but things have changed. He's turning in a good performance, and surely no one will ever underestimate him again. So he's among the top 20, and he's doing well.
Yeah, good on him. Did you notice what effect the wrong wax can have on the skis? He came down the in-run like a lame duck.
Until recently, the season's gone pretty well for him. But now there's something bugging him.
Bugging him?
Yeah, I don't know. Something's not right. He's deteriorating. And if he doesn't change his performance, he'll slip down to midfield.
Yes.
I think he'll rejoice again when he has a look at the video of this flight tonight. And his good performance was appreciated by the judges.
This will give him extra motivation for the next competitions.
He's getting better and better. And I'm sure that the top skiers will keep their eye on him today.
Well, if he can start under good weather conditions and has a little bit of luck, he'll be able to climb up the ranking this season, that's for sure.
Improves from competition to competition and from jump to jump. Let's see how far up he could get in the ranking.
He should go way up now.
He's already proved that he can cope with the very best, but at the crucial moments he often lacks their cool. That's why his rank among the top 20 is justified for the moment. That's all the distance he's capable of today, so he has to be satisfied with it.
What else could he do?
This ski jump has its K-point at 115 meters and a total length of 264 meters before the run out. So much for your information before the start. Well, that's a score he can be satisfied with today. The judges didn't evaluate his performance too highly, but not too badly either.
No, that's fair enough.
I think it's okay. The slight crosswind might cause some problems today.
Yeah, but any pro will be able to adjust to a light breeze like this, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, that's agonizing. It looked as if he had brake wax under his skis. He developed much too little speed on the in-run for a decent takeoff.
Brake wax, that's a good one. I have to remember that.
This is Japan's great hope for the competition. His big idol is a compatriot of his, Noriaki Kasai, who finished third in the 1999 World Cup. The hard training over the last few weeks has paid off, and it's reflected by the results. No reason to be dissatisfied. What do you say, Colin?
No, he can pack his skis with a clear conscience and try to attack again in the next competition.
Yeah. You talked about the jump as a filigree system, Colin. What role does the material play?
Well, naturally, it's absolutely crucial. For example, if your angle of attack is not perfect, or even the wax mixture, that can spoil your whole season.
An okay jump, let's put it like that. He certainly won't rejoice about the distance, I'm pretty sure of that. What euphoria surrounding this man in the last few weeks, and he deserves all of it. His performance has been outstanding throughout the season. I bet he's dreamed more than once these last few days about being on the victory roster.
Well, I believe he can do it, actually, Mark. If there's one person in the world who can, then it's him.
That was a good jump. Not a very good one, and the score reflects that. I think the judges made a wise decision. Great season for him. His performance is consistently good or even very good, and that's reflected in the ranking. He'll keep his place in the top 10. No way he's going to be pushed out.
No, I don't see that either.
Look at this. A very nice takeoff. Maybe he didn't exactly find the best point, but this is worthy of a good distance.
Yes, absolutely. That's for sure.
To me, he's one of the great surprises of the season. I wouldn't have expected to see him in the top 10.
No, me neither, Mark, but it's those shooting stars who make this sport interesting.
No one would have imagined such a decline. A few weeks ago, he was close to victory, and now he's falling down the rankings. How come, Colin?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he trained too hard. He seems drained to me.
Yeah. That's a pretty good score for him. I think I would have judged his flight similarly. He didn't make any mistakes, and that's what the judges thought as well.
Yeah, I think they did it right there.
He's very, very close to the top skiers in the world. Actually, he's already one of them. If he can keep up this performance, he's a real threat to the leaders.
Yeah, excellent season for him, absolutely.
Approach run, takeoff, landing, perfect. But the flying phase, the flight itself, wasn't all that pleasing to the eye. His posture just isn't right yet.
No, it looked a bit wobbly.
His performance is regular as clockwork this season. He's always in the top group. His practice seems to pay off.
Absolutely. He wouldn't let anyone pass him now, but on the other hand, he's not yet good enough to make the decisive step towards becoming number one.
I don't want to exaggerate, but this score is close to a sensation. He exceeds all expectations.
Yeah, fantastic. Sensational.
He's one of the skiers who pleasantly surprised the expert this season. He always lived up to their expectations, and he didn't have a single fall this season.
Yeah, last year was quite a different story. Now he's become a really good skier.
Ooh, wrong sport, I'd say. This is called ski jumping. But that's not what I call a jump.
No, to be honest, my grandmother could have done better. God rest her soul.
He's one of the outstanding jumpers this season, and he's rightly at the top. His form peaks at the right moment. Many of his colleagues could still learn from him. He's a pro, absolutely concentrated in training and competition. The winning type. Yes, that's how a landing should look like. There wasn't much wrong with it, was it, Colin?
No, he can be satisfied with that one. The skis were parallel. He didn't dig into the snow. That was good.
Ah, this is weird, Colin. So far, He always was in the top 3, and now, suddenly, these poor performances.
Well, maybe he put himself under too much pressure, or his coach is too demanding. But he's still clinging to the top. But for how long?
He improves from competition to competition, and from jump to jump. Let's see how far up he could get in the ranking.
He should go way up, Mark, I think.
The pressure is enormous. But if he doesn't get a rank at the very top, his dream of victory this season is as good as over. He seems strained, tired, and done for these days.
But when he sees the public here, he'll put everything he has into it. I still think he's capable of a good performance, Mark.
Many jumpers say that it is sometimes harder to get through the qualification round than to win the competition. Be that as it may. So, this is the result of the first round. I'm certain that not all skiers will be satisfied with the ranking. The bottom 20 disappear from view, for they were simply not good enough for this final round of the 30 best. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the final results for your information. I'd be glad to have you with us again next time. And many thanks to my co-commentator, Colin Phillips.
Oh, thanks to you too, Mark. Thanks for having me. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
See you next time. Today we're in France, on the ski jump in Courchevel. Hello, or rather, bonjour. I'm sure that not only fans of the British team will be happy to hear that my co-commentator today is Colin Phillips.
Next time I'll be competing again, that's for sure.
We all hope that, and we keep our fingers crossed for it. He obviously lost his courage there. He left the V position much too early, and so the landing looked anything but nice. He had certainly hoped for much more. Let's see which 50 skiers have qualified for the next round.
Well, you can see some faces falling, but that's just the way things go.
Here's the final ranking for you, ladies and gentlemen. After a thrilling competition, next time all skiers have the chance to go for gold. Until then, I say cheerio and adios to my co-commentator, Colin Phillips.
Well, thanks very much there, Mark. It was a pleasure being here, really. I've had great fun.
Vikersund is in the district of Buskerud, in the municipality of Modum. So much for geography, and now back to sports. What's a host without an actual practitioner of sport? This time, it's Colin Phillips, and we're very proud to have him here with us today.
I'm happy to be here too. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
I hope you just got bruises, Colin. A fall including a somersault, that's not really what we wish to see in ski jumping. No, but the landing is sometimes... For the top skiers, qualification is just a sort of practice, as 50 out of 72 skiers qualified for the next round. But the weaker athletes have to make an effort if they don't want to be weeded out. think we've seen some nice and what's more, long jumps. And I also think that the best 30 skiers absolutely deserve to be in the final round. I feel a bit sorry for the others, but that's how it goes in sports. These are the results of